Good morning, Year 5. Now, today in our writing lesson, what we're going to be looking at is punctuating dialogue. Now, in our box plans, quite a few of you have put in your ingredients section and a feature of a newspaper report that we need to include direct and reported speech. Now, we are going to look at direct speech and how we can punctuate that properly. So, the golden rules of dialogue and punctuating dialogue. All dialogue must be contained within quotation marks or speech marks. So, what a person says is in between speech marks. Number two, before the end of the quotation, we must punctuate the sentence. Okay, so that could be by using a comma, exclamation mark, question mark, or a full stop. Now, number three doesn't exactly apply to us today, as we aren't going to be including too much dialogue. However, if we were writing a narrative story and we are having a conversation between two characters, um, each time a new speaker would speak, we would start our writing on the line below. And last of all, number four, include dialogue tags. Now, I'm going to refer to these as speaker tags today, and these are all about who said what and how they have said it. So, um, quotations should be enclosed with in between quotation marks or speech marks. So, exactly what a person has said should be in between speech marks. Now, I've got an example here. The head beekeeper declared, "My bees produce 20 kilograms of honey a year." Now, as you can see, at the start of that, what the beekeeper has declared, it starts with a capital letter. So my starts with a capital M. So uh, a direct quote always begins with a capital letter, unless the quotation is split, which I'll go on to a bit later. Also, we also need to punctuate the sentence within the quotation marks. So, for example, there's a full stop here, but you could also do that with a question mark, comma, or an exclamation mark if you're exclaiming something. Now, if we had a quote at the beginning of a sentence, it is always followed by a comma, question mark, or an exclamation mark. Okay, so I've got some examples here. Have you ever seen a colony of honeybees? Emma asked. I'm not too sure, replied James. So here we have a question being asked, and James is replying, and we have a comma for James's reply and a question mark because Emma is asking a question. Also at the bottom we have honeybees are the greatest insect to ever exist, Dr. Crane exclaimed. Now there's an exclamation mark here because Dr. Crane is exclaiming it and she's saying it with a bit of oomph, isn't she? Now, if we have a quote at the end of a sentence, the speaker tag will come before it, and after the speaker tag, we have a comma. So, Tara asked, comma, what makes you say that, Dr. Crane? So, there's always a comma after the speaker tag. Now, I referred earlier to split dialogues, okay? So, this is where the quotation is split or is interrupted by a speaker's tag, okay? So there's an example here. Will you watch the beehive? Asked Mr. Franklin while I'm mowing the lawn. So if we look at the second quotation, or the second part of the quote here, it says, while I'm mowing the lawn. Now this part begins with a lowercase letter. So while has a lowercase w. Now, when it's divided into two, okay, so if it's split, a comma usually follows the first part. So a comma will comes after beehive, as you can see if you look at the arrow, and also it comes another comma comes after the speaker's tag. So asked Mr. Franklin, comma. Now your task today, I would like you to punctuate these sentences below by using quotation marks, and you'll have to use the correct punctuation. So you might need to add in a certain capital letters, and also add in speaker's tag for each of the quotes. Okay, so how is John Muir saying, "Handle a book as a bee does a flower. Extract its sweetness, but do not damage it." Okay, I'd like you to write these out in your books, please. Okay, and next, what I would like you to do after that is actually write your first paragraph of your main body, or your first part of your main body. Okay, so for example, when we planned the structure, my first part of my main body was talking about the importance of bees. So I've actually taken an extract out of what I have already written for my paragraph. Okay, and it goes like this. Honeybees are vital members of the natural world. Dr. Crane, the founder of the International Bee Research Association, stated honeybees are the greatest insect to ever exist. According to Greenpeace, this integral insect pollinates 70% of the food crops we eat. Now, in this section, just this small extract that I've written, I've actually got a bit of parenthesis. I've got direct speech, and I've got a an adverbial phrase at the start of a sentence. Now, in your writing, what I would like you to do is make sure that you've got direct speech in your first section, okay? And then also, can you add parenthesis in there? Can you add a fronted adverbial or an adverb at the start of the sentence? Okay, thank you.